a podcast hosted by Jody Tree, Joe on the mic, Leader Talk. All right, guys, welcome back to another episode, and I'm so glad to have AnnaMaria with us today, and she's going to be talking about her organization, Prosperity to Pathways LLC, and what they do for veterans. And I'm so excited because she is also a veteran, and just like I am, and she understands the need to help those that are transitioning from the military. All right, hey, if you're still in the military too, she could probably help you out. But let me go ahead and read her bio so we can do proper introductions. It says Champions for Changed Lives. I love that motto that you guys have. That's awesome. AnnaMaria spends her waking moments working hard for others who are experiencing homelessness and can get back on their feet. And those who may be on the brink, never spend one day being homeless. That is an awesome cause. Having been homeless twice herself, she does all that's possible for others to prosper and prevent homelessness or near homelessness situations. She is the founder for a profit business, Prosperity Pathways LLC, and the founder of a nonprofit organization called Onward and Upward. In her business and organization, people are guided to employment and led on a path leading to sustainable prosperity. And like we said, AnnaMaria is a veteran, along with her husband, both served 26 years, combined Army Reserve, Army National Guard. She served as a musician and a career counselor, assisting thousands of soldiers developing flourishing and prosperous military and civilian careers. That's super important. AnnaMaria has 3 college degrees and soon will get her doctorate. Hey, awesome. Get it. From the University of Wisconsin-Whitewater. She is married to her soulmate. Oh, that's cute. Mother of 5 children, grandmother to 6 grandchildren, and great-grandmother to 1 great-granddaughter. Man, that's a big family. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
She loves camping. I love camping too. Boating, fishing, and doing needlework. I don't like doing needlework, but I see people do it and do some amazing things. It takes a lot of patience, such as knitting, crocheting, cross-stitching, and latch hooking. Welcome, AnnaMaria. How you doing?
Hey, Joe, thank you so much for having me on this episode. I'm doing great. You would think that when does she sleep from that bio?
I know. I was like, my gosh, you are super busy. You are super busy. I mean, especially trying to get your doctorate and all the kids, helping veterans out and doing your show, which we'll highlight later on as well. My gosh, when do you have time?
Not to mention that I also do have a full-time job and a part-time teaching job where I have the pleasure of teaching junior level business college graduates.
Wow.
And to be honest, if I was able to just do the teaching of the junior level business college graduates, that would be a dream come true. Because basically, Joe, I've been doing everything that is in my bio to get to that point.
Wow.
So I tell my clients and my customers that sometimes you just have to get what you get on the way to go where you want to go. Mm-hmm. And I realize this is, a leadership focus of yours. And so I hope that maybe what I just said resonates with people.
Yes.
I was even talking to my college students and letting them know that if they're working for Jiffy Lube or if they're working for Taco Bell, on their way to working for an accounting firm, it's one of those things that we all will do in a placeholder job to get to where a career job may be waiting for us.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We don't want to despise the process of getting there. And sometimes people get frustrated because of where they're at versus where they want to be. And I'm glad the way you articulated that, because it's a journey. And if we don't take time to learn on that journey, we're missing out.
Yeah. And how many skills are being developed on that pathway?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And it makes a difference.
Yeah. I mean, let's put it this way. it's not a dream job to be at a Jiffy Lube, even though some people are they want to be a mechanic and they're thriving as a mechanic. That's great. Or, or maybe working at Pizza Hut or something. Let's just put one of those jobs out there. But if that person, if you're there at that level and you're frustrated about the process, how about this? Turn that mindset around to like, what can I learn about this organization? Because I'm going to need to learn about team management. I need to learn about running a staff. I'm going to need to learn about management when I get to that higher level, wherever that higher level is, when I start learning it now.
Well, yeah, if you're working for, like I said, Taco Bell and you want to be a lawyer, and you start out at entry level and you make it into, maybe you're now a team leader, right? But you've also learned customer service. Try being a lawyer without customer service.
Oh my gosh.
Not gonna work.
I know we already hear horror stories about how lawyers are, and they're not like very user friendly, for lack of a better term. But yeah, if you could go and be a lawyer and you have those people skills, that's a recipe for success, because
Yes,
you're
it is.
more personable. You have the soft skills that people don't normally have at that level, because they've been studying so much to be a lawyer, and just focusing on the nuts and bolts and the legalities, and which is important, because we need lawyers to be focusing on that, to be sharp in their legalese.
Yes.
But people skills is a big deal. And I know we're getting, hey, look, this is all about leadership, folks. So don't get lost in the sauce about, how we're talking about this.
No, but how do you become a good leader?
Mm-hmm.
You become a good leader by first being a good follower.
Exactly. My gosh. and it's so true. And that's why I was like, man, when I wanted to bring you on board and you told us all about what you're doing, you're teaching us by your example about self-leadership. Because can you if you feel comfortable with it, explain a little bit about, you said in your bio, it said you were homeless a couple of times.
Well, life's ups and downs. While I was in the military, I got into some situations at home where I was a victim of domestic violence. And for those listeners, you know exactly what I'm talking about. In a moment such as that, you pick up and you go with just as much as you can throw in the car, right? And so twice now I've lost precious items. I mean, my mom gave me heirlooms before the first homeless bout. And then several people along the way gave me really wonderful gifts of appreciation, because I've kind of been doing this all along, but not really until 2013. But as a thank you for like driving them to the DMV for getting their license, they went and they gave me some precious handmade gifts. Unfortunately, that had to get left behind on the second homeless bout. I mean, it's survival.
In the process, you had to take charge of your life, take leadership, self-leadership, to say, look, I can't be in this relationship anymore because it's destructive.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to do self-leadership. But you were homeless, but look at where you're at right now.
Oh, I know. I'm flourishing.
And I love that story that you have, and you're about to get your doctorate, because guys, this is a survivor, but not just a survivor, a thriver. Okay.
Yeah, it's one thing to be resilient. It's another to take what you're given and be resourceful. Exactly. And that's what I learned, and that's what I teach. And I model. I tell my students that if for some reason they're not in a great place to work, they can model a great place to work. And I'm giving them the tools to do it.
Now, and we're supposed to be talking about having due diligence.
Well, I did do due diligence for myself and for others.
And how to delegate, yes. And you're doing a lot of stuff.
Right. Now, the
Yeah.
delegating has been an Achilles heel for me. I had several sergeant majors say, well, wait a minute, we promoted you to E8. We didn't mean for you to take on the entire region on your own. You have a staff to do that, and that staff has a staff to do that. And so we're allowing you to use your leadership in your levels of authority. And so I learned very quickly that my first level, I mentor and teach them, and then they go and teach the next level, mentor and teach. And I model it for all the levels.
Mm-hmm.
And that's due diligence with delegation in teaching and modeling.
Now, I don't want to lose the importance of this, because you said modeling, and now modeling, it's not the, on the catwalk.
No, it's a role model.
It's a role model, yes. And so, like, can you give us an example of what you mean by modeling? Because I want to go from there.
Okay, so I'll tell, like when I told the students, I said, you can be the great place to work, and eventually you will be in the great place to work. So for example, if you're in a situation where the management is not kind, you be kind. In my life, I was dealt a lot of dirty hands. Now, I could have dwelt on that and let that ruin me. Instead, I decided my life was worth more than that. And what I can contribute to other people meant more than just being in a pity party for myself. Did I deserve one? Oh, you bet. All victims deserve pity parties. But the party has to come to an end at some point and in some way. And when you come to the end of the pity party, it's time to move onward and upward. And that's why I'm trying to do what I can for as many veterans and non-veterans. It's not exclusive to veterans, but it's mostly geared to my brothers and sisters that serve this country, to take care of them. Goodness knows we're not being taken care of by you know what. We have to take care of ourselves.
And that's why I wanted to make sure to highlight your organization. And there were some other organizations too that are springing up in Florida. And you guys are in Wisconsin.
Yes.
And man, this network that's forming is so awesome to help our veterans out there that are homeless. And can you tell us a little bit more about what your organization does before we move forward? Because I want to make sure to highlight that.
Yes.
Because before we start getting back into the delegation, because that's very important too.
Yes. So for people that find themselves, now they're being called housing insecure. But guys, no matter how you dress the pig, it's a pig. How homelessness, housing insecure, food insecurity, job insecurity, whatever. Homeless, jobless situation lands you on the sidewalk, in a tent, on steps, in cars, couch surfing. That's not a very stable way of living, and it's not a very safe and secure way either. So Onward and Upward got started in 2017 by my husband asking me, hey, honey, you've helped 200 plus people with homes and computers get online jobs, and now they're working at home, making a decent income, staying with their kids. For those that are handicapped or disabled, they are able to work flexibly and be the most productive when they're most productive, irregardless of the limitation. And college students got wind of what I was doing, and so they were able to stay in college. But all these people that I helped in military transition and military spouses, all these people had homes and had computers. But my husband turns to me one day and he says, honey, I'm proud of you for helping all these people, but what do you do if you don't own your computer and you don't live in a home? I got to tell you, quite honestly, that question threw me for a loop. because it never occurred to me that that would even be an issue because I'm helping all these other folks, right? So after doing some research, and I got in the car and went around like I was a homeless person to see where the computers are, I learned that there's no way that a person in that situation can compete in an online job market. And Joe, I was appalled, because in a situation like that, you can't compete in the job market, which means that there's a lot of inequality going on. So back in 2017, my husband and I created a community online work center to mitigate the issue of inequality, to bring about inclusion, all of the stuff that is now at the forefront of everyone's thinking and policy making. We started in 2017 with a community online work center to even the playing field. So for folks that were in a situation without a home and without a computer could come into our work center and have use of that work center for 40+ hours a week. And we built into that an education program and an accountability program where they had to work and save, and they graduated 6 months or sooner with 3 months of rent, utilities, and food in the bank, and a place that was already theirs to move from the Community Online Work Center into working at their home from the comfort of their home. First year out, we graduated 17. The first person to get a full-time job at the Community Online Work Center, 5 days after we opened, on Veterans Day 2017, by the way, was a 16-year naval veteran. He was on shore duty, stepped on an explosive device, got both his legs blown out from under him. It's a miracle he didn't lose his life, but he lost his legs. And so he met me at Operation Stand Down, and 2 weeks later, we opened our doors to the Community Online Work Center. And he was the first one to get a full-time job working as a like a technician help desk type of person from the cubicle at the Community Online Work Center. So just imagine, now we've got someone who is at that time, he was staying in a shelter, homeless shelter. He got bused to the Community Online Work Center and never missed a day. 3 days in, his brother sends him a bus ticket and says, come home. And that was the first person that I saw actually get reunited with a family. The next one was a mother to a daughter. And because the mother didn't have the wherewithal and didn't trust the bus and begged me to transport her from her tent to our Community Online Work Center, she got a call center job full-time. She was working in the cubicle for a full week before her daughter came into the Community Online Work Center and they got reunited. I never actually thought in my wildest dreams that reunification was going to take place, but it did. Over and over and over and over again.
Wow. That your organization is saving lives, basically.
But now that's the nonprofit. So the for-profit is for all of those that have homes and computers.
Oh my goodness. We definitely need to know what is the website that they can actually reach out to you and find out more about your organization and contribute.
If you have a home and you have a computer, contact us at contact@prosperitypathways.com is the email. But better yet, just go to our website, prosperitypathways.com. And that's for folks that have homes and have computers. If you're in a situation where these days we are now calling housing insecure, that's for you. We have Onward and Upward. And so that website is Onward, Upward, inc.org. Onward, Upward, inc.org. onwardandupward.org.
Wow.
And our email is contact@onwardupwardinc.com.
And are you looking for folks that might want to, like, hey, we want to take your model and bring it to our area? So are you taking folks that might have that interest?
My dying wish is that I not leave this planet until every major city in the United States has a community online work center. Just imagine for just a moment what every major city, New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Detroit, Miami, what that would look like if there was a community online work center where people that were in that situation that need computers to work online and make it so that they can, you know what was really cool? All these people had kids. All of them had kids. Well, I'll have to back up. The 16-year veteran was single, but everyone else had kids. Wow. So by learning how to work online and then eventually taking that home with them, guess what that did? That gave them the opportunity of not only being reunited, but now they're able to stay together and be there for their kids. So just imagine what that would mean for the United States if we actually had a community online work center going in every major city in the United States. Wow.
Wow. Man, AnnaMaria, thank you for what you're doing for our community out there. Wow. And it all started with a good question. And I wrote it down. It says, what do you do if you don't have a home or a computer? And I was like, wow. Wow. Just from one sincere question. Yeah. People's lives can be changed. Because, well, let's put it this way. One question, but action after that question.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because
my gosh. I wasn't going to stand for it, neither was my husband. Not allowing everybody the opportunity to compete on a job market. This is the United States of America, where equality is foremost in our democracy. We weren't going to let this happen. So we created a community online work center, and a lot of folks took advantage of it.
No, that's good. Man, I'm glad we're doing this interview. I'm glad we're putting it out there, because when we spoke on the Veterans Connection, I was like, wow, she's doing a lot of great things. We got to make sure we put her out there and show people, look, what can be done. And I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a lot of questions about that. Well, hey, you know, where do I get the land? Or where do I get the computers? And I'm pretty sure that you'll show them all that. And we briefly did talk about that.
For 3 places in the United States that's kind of looking into this for them. There's 3.
No, awesome.
I want 50.
Yeah, we need 50 or more. I mean, because there's a lot of major towns out there in each state. I mean, in Florida alone, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different cities that I can think of that would need a junction, a place like that to help the veteran community.
Yes.
Goodness gracious. Wow, this is so good. Guys, if you want to know about leadership, this is leadership. Is not just, hey, I have a burden, but what can I do about it? You know, because some people will like, I got a burden, but oh, it's too much. But AnnaMaria actually said, look, what can we do? You know, what, even if it's one small step, if we can help one person out, but look, she's helped multiple people. I love it because you were wanting to help them get a job. But the outgrowth of that was reuniting with family members, getting those connections back. It's about getting a job, but you get the family back.
For Prosperity Pathways, let me tell you, because here's another thing I wasn't counting on that happened. To a year, 2 years into their job, they'd come back and they would say, you know, I really appreciate you helping me to this point, but I've always wanted to have a flower shop. Or, you know, thank you for helping me to this point, but I really want to have an after-school tutoring program as a nonprofit. How do I get that started? That's another thing that I never really counted on. And so, you know, when you go to Prosperity Pathways, you'll see the pathways. Or somebody might say, thank you for getting me this call center job. But to be honest with you, I'd like to be a social worker. Now we're talking career, right? Now we're talking, how can we get you from Land's End call center to working for a community as a social worker? Let's look at the career path and let's build it, and you step forward in it.
Oh.
So when you go on Prosperity Pathways and you see that we are more than employment, I just wanted to give some explanation as to what happened. It was an outgrowth. I wasn't planning on that at all.
This is so good. This is so good. Man, when you model, and we're going back to the modeling, when you model, and I wrote it down too, model the behavior you want to see. And I love that, because if you're not seeing it where you're at, just model it.
Yep.
And guess what? You'll see multiplication from it, because people are going to recognize.
Yep.
She wants to help people out. And guess what? Some of those other people, they got the bug in them to start their own nonprofit.
Yep.
You know what? And that's great. That's awesome. Guys, that's what leadership is all about. Helping people up, not giving them a handout, because handouts it does temporary stuff. But when you help people up, like AnnaMaria is saying, onward and upward, you're helping them up, helping them to dust themselves off and get their skills and get their mindset back in the game, that it is possible. They start moving forward.
Somebody told me that the root word for prosper is hope.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to look that up now. and that's what you're doing. You're just providing people with hope by giving them a step each way.
Yep.
And that's what anybody ever needs. They just need a little help, a little hope to go forward and see that look, hey, I could still do something. I could still contribute. I could still have purpose. I could still help affect something. And guess what?
Yes.
Healing is happening. So,
Yes.
Man,
And
this
for
is
many
so
of
good.
our brothers and sisters, especially coming back from Afghanistan, they need that.
Yeah, even more when they're dealing with PTSD and all kinds of other things, maybe coming back to a home that's not the way they used to have it. Things might have changed. This organization that AnnaMaria has, both parts, even the profit and for nonprofit, are there to help folks to just get reestablished.
Yep.
Find out who they are again. Let the past be the past. That's one of my coaching things. Is the second leg is forgiveness. Is letting the past be the past, so you can be present and move forward. But sometimes we need a little help. We need someone like AnnaMaria and her organization to say, hey, look, we'll help you along the way so you can start anew.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. Oh my gosh. Before we go, AnnaMaria, because you know what? We don't need to talk about delegation because we talked about so much more. We talked about hope. We talked about your organization, how you bring hope to people and help set them on the pathway again, like you said so wonderfully. Before we go, any last words for our folks and before we conclude this episode?
Thank you for that. I just want to mention too, as you were talking, there's a saying, if you give a man a fish, he eats one meal, but teach him how to fish. And now he's eating for a lifetime. That really resonates with me in the fact that I went through what I went through with my life experience. And it thrills me to no end to know that my organization, and yes, I delegate a staff so that we can be available to help other people get back on their feet, stay on their feet, and never be in a situation such as that in the first place. I just really would love to have other people come on board as volunteers, as perhaps donors, Or if, like what Joe said, hey, if this sounds like something that you and your community want to take on, I'm here to help you through the process. But thank you for allowing me to share what it is that we're doing on your episode.
No, man, we're so honored to have you on. And who knows, maybe next year we do a follow-up on the broadcast and say, look, this is where she's at. This is, we got 50 more, who knows, maybe 60 different places. Nice. That would be super awesome. And look, thank you, AnnaMaria, for coming on again. Thank you for showing us about your organizations and what you're doing, especially Onward and Upward and in the prosperity organization as well. And guys, gals, have a blessed day. Reach out to AnnaMaria to help her organization grow. Even if you want to be a leg of her organization in your city or your state, do it. Have a blessed day. And like I always tell people, have just a positive expectation of God's goodness in your life each and every day. God bless, guys.